Welcome to Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest, Episode 5. Welcome, I'm King Priam by night, to replay Maya, our protagonist. She's in Poland and trying to find out more about her family, and we're on the right track. The tipping point. They all wanted to do something that night, but after a whole day's discussion that they were still divided on what to do. 3 for one option, 3 for the other. I saw no reason to back up Olga. Cornell's plan. Peaceful protests. A little help from my friends. I voted for the peaceful protest, and soon we were on our way to the National Park headquarters and education center. We had some banners to install. Bartek hesitated for a long time, but he joined us in the end. I'm only coming because my dad is out tonight and he won't see me coming in late, he mumbled. Anya also tagged along. This is so exciting, Anya whispered. I never done anything so illegal. Soon we were there. As we were on our way, I realized that we followed the path only because of my vote. I made a difference. The National Park headquarters were located in something called Palace Park. The name was historical. The name, like everything in Poland, was historical. Centuries ago, some king and his hunting lodge some king had his hunting lodge there, but now it was in mishmash of old new buildings scattered around the park. Some were rough and bulky, made of stone and brick, while others were an extravagant of wooden porches, lace-like shutters and meticulous sculpted pillars. There was no one around, but the air was well lit. It was exhilarating. Finally, a big, shameless gesture. I thought, looking at the huge silhouette of the headquarters. I felt alive. My heart was thumping in my chest and I was grinning from ear to ear. I felt alive and reckless. Suddenly I remembered the shirt located just next to the Palace Park gate. I could feel its dark silhouette looming in the darkness, waiting. We were ready. They'd spent the whole day painting the sign on a length of material sewn together from what looked like old sheets that were various shades of greyish-white. The dark green letters declared, "Wood is the enemy of the forest." Where do we hang it? Asked Daniel, who'd come equipped with climbing gear. Clearly needed inspiration. He looked like he needed some inspiration. These drawing perhaps look handy, I said, pointing at the wall. I think it's almost exactly the length of our sign between them. It doesn't matter, Olga said, because hanging the banner is a waste of time. The tone of her voice was challenging, and maybe I took the remark too personally. I challenged her. Olga, we voted in favor of this plan, I reminded her. If you're not okay with democracy, you're getting close to their point of view. She stared at me, incredulous, then laughed. Yes, we voted, and I'm here with you. It's a great banner, and I'm sure it will look good on the pictures published by a number of independent political blogs. She looked at Cornell, but it stuck so deep onto the overeducated ecological dispute that people won't get it, and the loggers won't care. While Cornell was looking for an answer, I nudged Daniel and we got back to work. I started looking for the best route. You can go right under the cable, I proposed. For fuck's sake, it's a fire hazard. Who hangs a wire like that? Anyway, if you climb on the roof from the front, I take the back. It'll be a walk in the park. Daniel smiled at me. You have a good eye. Finally, we pull the banner up. My father will have a stroke when he sees this. Bartek let out a repressed laugh. It's an important message. Anya looked up with fire in her eyes. The world must know. I looked at the sign, flying high over the park. I was proud of our work. When we finished, Cornell gathered us together. I was proud of what we'd accomplished, and I contributed to that. Whatever my family had done, I was starting to pay back that debt. Cornell reached for his bicycle. Let's go for a trip, he said, to remind ourselves what we're trying to protect. Gunshots in the wood. The woods were full of stars. We cycled in silence, enjoying the calm of the forest, as it enjoyed ours. After some time, the place of power opened up before us. The boulder looked relaxed. A soft breeze rustled in the trees, welcoming us. I knew this place. I'd been there before. I cleared my mind and inhaled. I immediately felt a restless energy rising in my veins. I wonder if anyone else felt it as well. Do you guys feel that? I looked at my companions, but before anyone could answer, a loud sound tore through the silence. It was a gunshot. Anya gasped, looking around, wide-eyed and terrified. The others tensed up, but they didn't look concerned, just confused. We have to get out of here immediately, Bartek whispered. Whisper was frantic and scared. There's a hunting party out there. Cornell turned towards us like he'd finally put something together. There was a rustle and I saw a bunch of men in camo, each of them with a rifle, coming towards us between the trees. What were they doing here? What the fuck? What are you doing here? I yelled, moving forward. Their leader waited us up for a moment and finally focused on Cornell. This area is closed for the night, the huntsman said in Polish. There was contempt in his voice. There is a hunt going on and you're all trespassing. We have police officers here, so I would go home if I were you, unless you want to get arrested. He was a man used to being listened to, and he tried to sound self-assured, but it takes one to know one, and I knew he was nervous. I punched him. I decided to take my chances and punch him in the chin. Night fight. The clearing shattered like a broken window into sharp pieces, its edges cut clear by the rays of a flashlight swirling in the darkness. One piece, a shout, another, a silhouette leaping, a dodge, a grunt, a punch, a cry, curses in 3 different languages. My mind was crystal clear, and as I jumped from one piece to another, a body slammed into one of the men and he stumbled. So I punched him harder. I took a step back to gain momentum and hit him as hard as I could. I heard a crack when I hit his nose, and then there was a loud thud. A flashlight shone his way. Bartek was kneeling over the body. Bartek was kneeling over a fallen guy and trying to wake him up. I saw blood. Blood on his head, blood on the stones next to his head, blood on the ground, dark and fresh. I didn't mean to. My heart sunk. What had I done? I took a step back. Then I heard a shout. She killed him, one of the men shouted, the horror clear in his voice. He directed his flashlight at my face, blinding me. Suddenly I realized what we were doing. What are we all doing, I asked, because seriously, what the fuck were we doing fighting in the middle of the night in the heart of the forest? A second later, I noticed a huge silhouette behind him. It looked at me, its eyes were glowing. "Leave her alone," it growled, and I recognized the voice. Was it Cornell? It was Cornell. He was bulging, muscles growing bigger, bones getting longer. He let out a joyous roar, throwing his hands, now equipped with strong claws, into the air. He grabbed the man and slashed him across his torso. What was happening? How could it be real? Why wasn't I scared? I shook my head. Something warm landed on my face. More blood. Howls, terrified screams. Bartek grabbed me and Anya's wrist. "We have to go!" The man screamed again and pointed a gun at Cornell. I attacked the man with a gun. I acted on instinct. I zeroed in on the man pointing the gun and launched myself at him. A gunshot tore through the night, and there was only pain. Bloody moon. The pain was unbearable. Nothing in my life had prepared me for this. I wasn't ready to go. I screamed defiance to the forest, blinded by the blood in my eyes and the searing pain in my shoulder and chest. I knew death was coming for me, but I wasn't ready. The forest didn't care. My story had just begun. I didn't want it to end. The forest caught my fall with a bed of moss and twigs. I stopped thrashing, and a cold numbness engulfed me. No, I tried to get up. I punched the earth, trying to get some feeling in my hands. I gritted my teeth, tried to get up. I collapsed again. I felt so cold. Suddenly there was light. I looked up. The full moon. It looked different. Luna in her full glory. Your health dropped to 0. When you lose all your health or willpower, you become impaired. This will make physical tasks if you have 0 health, or social and mental tasks if you have 0 willpower, harder and sometimes impossible. The moon was a goddess and she noticed me. "Get up," she said. I got up. I get up. I feel good. I know that I shouldn't, but I don't remember why. I don't care. I stretch. My muscles are sore and cramped, so I stretch like I've never stretched before. My arms are longer, my legs are stronger, my heart is pumping, and I feel like I've spent my whole life packed into a box. I've finally been set free. My mind is clear. My mind is clearer than it ever been before. I see the world in a sharp contrast of black and white, movement and stillness. I smell prey. I hear languages in their hooting of owls, the whistling of the wind, and the snarling of the wolves. I'm what I was born to be. I breathe. I am what I was. I take a breath and I feel my ribs and muscle move. The forest smell of blood and fear and excitement. I'm happy. I laugh happily and others' laughter joins me. We laugh and sing to the moon. Something stings me. I look around. There's a small malformed creature pointing a stick at me. The stick blazes with fire and there's another sting. The creature is no threat to me, but its presence is annoying. It smells, almost sends me reeling, and I don't like being pricked. I rip its head off. I reach out lazily and rip its head off its shoulder. Blood blooms from its neck like a beautiful flower. I throw the head towards the moon. My ears prick and I hear more creature running blindly through the bushes. I feel better. My leg no longer stings and I feel better than ever before. Prey? Hunt? I smell prey and I start hunting. They do not see me as I move silently through the undergrowth. The creatures are running away, their backs turned to me. A growl escapes from between my teeth and one of them turns my way. It challenges me. I roar. I roar and the creature falls down, curls into a ball. It smells of ammonia. Piercing light burns my eye and I hear more creatures coming my way. They want to hurt me. I strike them one by one. I hide in shadows and they're too slow, too dumb, too clueless to notice me. I strike them down one by one. Some fight back. Some manage to defend themselves briefly, but most of them don't see me coming. A new smell. The wind brings us new smell. The air tastes of fur and musk and blood. The shape move among the trees, but they're no creatures. They're people like me. Suddenly I'm surrounded by them. I think I know them. They seem familiar. It's like I met them in the past, but they were hidden. They close in on me. What do they want? I wait, I relax and wait for them, unflinching. They approach me and sniff the air. Their smells are overwhelmingly familiar. Once the people had sounds attached to them, but now I realize the sounds were not the true names. Run with us, they say, and we run. And we hunt together and there is joy. There are no words to describe the thrill of being a part of a pack and closing in on our prey and tearing it apart. Then I get lost chasing something only because it's escaping. And I am alone in the heart of the forest. I look up and see no moon, only clouds and tangled branches. Something changes. Something changes and I realize how tired I was. I stumble. Darkness. Nothing was okay. The night sky was full of stars. I opened my eyes. Confused, I opened my eyes. The forest around me was thick and dark. The tree trunks, wrapped tightly in dark-leaved ivy, were covered in ripples of lichen where the vines hadn't taken hold. The thorny, leafless bushes at their base were overrun with nettles. The fungi radiated with a ghoulish, sickly green light. Dark, sponge-like mushrooms clung to the fallen trees. I was cold. I knew it was summer, but I felt cold. Where were my clothes? I looked down and saw my hands covered in dark substance. I was naked. A sticky, glistening film of liquid was clinging to my skin. I could feel it on my face, in my hair. Blood. Someone had drawn strange symbols on my skin in the drying blood. Was it me? I knew what was coming. I remembered my dreams and slowly lifted my eyes. There was a severed head right in front of me. I winced and touched it. Overcoming my disgust, I gently touched its wet hair and watched as the head toppled over. The face was contorted and eyes bulging. The mouth open as though the head was still struggling for air. I recognized that face. It was one of the hunters, the one that had tried to stop me. It was all my fault, I screamed. No! I let out a long, blood-curdling scream. The night swallowed it. The bushes rustled and a moment later I saw Cornell coming out from between the trees. He looked at me, at the head, at my face. He came closer and squatted beside me. This is what we were trying to tell you, a grey eye smiled. See, you're a werewolf. I looked at him. I blinked. 'd. 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 And I think that's the best place to end tonight's episode. If you liked what you saw, trigger like below and follow for more content like this. And I will see you next time.